Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about something that stirred up quite a bit of debate over the years. Steve Harvey's influence on thousands of women, particularly through his book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, and the way it shaped conversations around relationships. Now don't get me wrong, Steve Harvey is a talented entertainer and businessman. He's made a name for himself in comedy, television, and even as a relationship guru. But when you take a closer look at his advice, you start to see why some people feel like he might have pulled the wool over the eyes of thousands of women. Let's unpack how and why it happened. When Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man hit the shelves, it promised to decode the mystery of men and relationships. Steve Harvey presented himself as the insider, the man who could help women understand what men really want. The appeal was instant. Women were drawn to the idea of a how-to guide for finding love and navigating relationships. The book was filled with catchy phrases like, "Men are simple creatures," and practical-sounding advice, like setting standards and timelines for commitment. But here's the thing, relationships aren't simple, and no one-size-fits-all approach works. The book oversimplified complex dynamics, offering quick fixes instead of encouraging deeper introspection or communication. Steve Harvey sold a dream, a perfect relationship if you followed his rules. But many of the principles in his book focused on women changing their behavior to accommodate men's desires, rather than fostering mutual respect and growth. For example, the infamous 90-day rule, where women were advised to wait 90 days before becoming intimate, framed relationships as transactional. The idea was that if women made men work for intimacy, they'd earn their respect. But in reality, this rule ignored the importance of emotional connection and mutual readiness, making love feel more like a strategy game than an organic partnership. Thousands of women followed this advice, hoping for better results in love, only to find themselves disappointed when these tactics didn't magically lead to commitment or happiness. Another way Steve Harvey fooled women was by positioning himself as the ultimate authority on men. While his insights may have been accurate for some, they were often rooted in traditional, patriarchal ideas of gender roles. For instance, his advice often implied that women needed to think like a man to succeed in relationships, as if women's natural instincts or perspectives weren't enough. This messaging subtly reinforced the idea that women were the problem, and they needed to change to fit into men's worlds. But let's be honest, healthy relationships are about meeting each other halfway, not one person doing all the adjusting. At the end of the day, Steve Harvey is an entertainer, not a trained relationship expert. He knows how to tell a good story and make people laugh, but that doesn't mean his advice is gospel. By presenting his opinions as universal truths, he positioned himself as the ultimate man whisperer, and many women bought into it because of his charisma and relatability. But charisma doesn't equal credibility. Now here's the part that might be hard to hear. While Steve Harvey's advice had its flaws, it's up to us as individuals to discern what works for us and what doesn't. Thousands of women bought into his advice because they were looking for answers, and that's understandable. But real empowerment comes from recognizing that no book, celebrity, or expert can dictate your worth or how you should navigate your relationships. The real lesson here isn't about blaming Steve Harvey. It's about reclaiming your power. Relationships aren't about rules or games. They're about authenticity, communication, and mutual respect. Instead of looking for a guidebook to love, invest in understanding yourself. What are your needs, boundaries, and values? When you approach relationships from a place of self-awareness and confidence, you'll attract the kind of partnership that aligns with who you truly are. Final thoughts. Steve Harvey may have fooled thousands of women into thinking his advice was the key to love, but the truth is, there's no shortcut to meaningful relationships. The power to find and nurture love lies within you, not in anyone else's playbook. If you've ever read Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, or followed Steve Harvey's advice, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What worked for you? What didn't? Let's talk about it in the comments. Remember, ladies, you don't need to think like a man to act like the amazing woman you are. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and share.